Today, we are going to tackle one of the most powerful, but honestly, one of the most misunderstood fundamentals in golf: maintaining your spine angle. You get this right, and I'm telling you, it unlocks a whole new level of consistency and effortless power. But if you get it wrong, well, you're in for a pretty frustrating day out on the course.
Does this whole scene look a little too familiar? You pure one right down the middle, feels amazing. And then the very next swing, you catch it thin, or maybe fat. One shot is dead straight, the next one slices off the planet. This maddening inconsistency, it's something every single golfer has to fight. But what if I told you that the root cause for a lot of those problems isn't some super complex, weird flaw in your swing? What if it's something much, much simpler? As you can see here, the secret culprit is very often your spine angle changing during the swing.
Okay, so let's dive into this. To fix a problem, you first have to understand what the problem actually is. So what is spine angle, and why is it so important? Why is it the very foundation of a solid, repeatable golf swing?
It's really this simple. Your spine angle is just the amount you tilt your upper body forward from your hips when you set up to the ball. But the real key, the insight here, is that second part. It acts as a stable axis. Think about it like a hinge on a door. If that hinge is solid, the door swings perfectly, predictably, every single time. But if it's loose, the whole door wobbles. Your spine, that's the hinge of your golf swing.
So what does a good hinge actually look like at setup? Well, this is basically your checklist. First, you want that forward bend to come from your hips, not from slouching your waist or rounding your back. Your back should be neutral, relatively straight. Then, you want a slight, athletic flex in your knees. And this is crucial. Your arms should just hang naturally from your shoulders, with your chest pointing down toward the golf ball. That right there is your starting position for success.
Okay, if it's so important, why do so many of us struggle to maintain it? Well, it's because our bodies are absolute masters of compensation. When one part of our swing is weak, or maybe out of sequence, another part tries to jump in and save it. And that's usually when our posture just completely breaks down. So, let's diagnose the most common faults. Here they are, the 5 usual suspects. We're going to quickly break down each one of these, because, just identifying your specific fault is the absolute first step to fixing it for good. This is the big one. You hear about it all the time. Early extension is when your hips and your pelvis move towards the golf ball during the downswing. And when your lower body moves in like that, your upper body has no choice but to lift up and away just to make room for the club. And the result? You guessed it, thin shots, blocks to the right, and big hooks to the left.
Now, this fault happens before you even start your downswing. Instead of rotating your shoulders around your spine, you lift your chest and stand up during the backswing itself. Look, if you start your swing by losing your posture, you have basically zero chance of finding it again on the way down.
This one is just simple physics. If your weight gets too far out onto your toes, you're going to start to fall forward. So to regain your balance, your brain instinctively just pulls your upper body upright. The takeaway here is really simple. Poor balance leads directly to poor posture. Sometimes the issue isn't even your technique, it's your body. If you've got tight hips or tight hamstrings or a stiff upper back, what golfers call the thoracic spine, your body physically can't rotate properly while staying in posture. It's actually forced to lift up just to complete the turn.
And finally, if your swing is all arms, your posture is going to break down. It just is. A good golf swing is led by the rotation of the body, the big muscles. When the arms get disconnected and start yanking the club down on their own, the entire structure and sequence just falls apart.
All right, enough about the problems. Let's get to the solutions. We're now moving into what we call the pro's playbook. These are the exact techniques and feels that the best players in the world use to build a rock-solid, repeatable swing.
So it really comes down to these 4 pillars. It all starts with that solid setup we talked about. From there, the key feeling in the backswing is turning your lead shoulder down and under your chin, not out and around. Then, you have to maintain what's called hip depth. We'll get to that in a sec. And finally, you got to keep your chest covering the ball through impact. This is a brilliant mental image for rotation. Seriously, think about this. Imagine your spine is the axle at the very center of a Ferris wheel. Your shoulders are like the carriages on that ride. They travel around that center axle on a tilted circle. They don't just go straight up and down. If you can feel that, you are halfway there.
Now, this idea of hip depth is so important. It's simply the distance from your hips to the golf ball. So look at the amateur mistake. The hips move in, the belt buckle gets closer to the ball, and all that space you need for your arms just disappears. Now look at the pro move. The hips are pushed back and away from the ball, which maintains or even creates that crucial space. This is the move that kills early extension.
Okay, let's turn these concepts into actual muscle memory. I mean, knowing what to do is one thing, but training your body to do it automatically, that's the real challenge. And that's where drills come in.
Here you go, a complete toolkit for your practice sessions. Every single one of these drills is designed to give you instant feedback on your posture and rotation. We're going to focus on one of the most effective ones right now.
The chair or wall drill is just fantastic. You set up with your backside just barely touching a wall, or maybe a golf bag. The goal is simple. Keep your glutes in contact with it throughout the entire swing. Your trail glute stays on it during the backswing, and as you transition, you turn so your lead glute makes contact. If your hips push off that wall, you're early extending. It is that simple, and the feedback you get is immediate.
And as you practice, just keep this final checklist in your head. Avoid bending your knees too much at setup. That actually locks up your hips. Don't slouch. Remember to rotate. Don't just sway side to side. And it's not about keeping your head perfectly frozen still. It's about keeping your chest down. And finally, make sure those hips are turning, not just sliding.
So here's the key takeaway. A stable spine angle is the engine of a consistent golf swing, period. By understanding the common faults and actually practicing the right drills, you can completely transform your ball striking. The power and consistency you're looking for, they aren't hiding in some secret move. They're waiting for you, right there in your posture. Now, are you ready to go build it?